Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream with me, Lara Ryan from Complete Test Success. So today we're looking at IELTS speaking, and we're going to focus on part 2. So part 2 is where you get the cue card, you have 1 minute to get ready, and then you have to speak for 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you guys to come join me here. Once you join me, I will share the cue card with you. You'll have 1 minute to get ready. You'll have to speak for the 2 minutes, like in the normal part 2, like a full part 2 in the IELTS test. And then, of course, I'll have some feedback for you about how to improve your score. So first thing, let me share this link. All right, so if you look in the comments, you should see this here. I just typed link to join me live. And it's a restream link. So just click on that. You'll be able to join me live, and then I'll get you to do a practice speaking part 2 question. Okay. And that's essentially what we're doing today. Obviously, some of you might have questions about various parts of the IELTS test. If so, you're more than welcome to ask those questions, and I'll be able to provide you with the answers. But mainly, what we're doing is giving people feedback on their responses. So that's the main focus of today's lessons. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of practice IELTS speaking tests recently. And what we're getting is a lot of people with tests coming up very soon. So, I mean, if you have a test coming up in the next 2 or 3 days, there's not much you can do in terms of your vocab, grammar, or pronunciation. So you should be just focusing on fluency. If you have more time, you should be focusing on your main weaknesses. So like if you have a problem with vocab, fix that. If you have a problem with grammar, fix that. So if you have a lot of time, you should be focusing on vocab, grammar, pronunciation, improving those. If you don't have much time, you need to focus on fluency. So that's just a general guideline. Now, a bigger issue is when people get into the test, their behavior often results in a lower score than they deserve. So what I get quite often is a student will be capable of a band, let's say 7, but they end up getting a band 6. And the reason that they're getting lower scores is because they're not just going in there and letting the examiners see what their level is. The problem is that they're going into the test and they're going, okay, I'm going to try and get a higher vocab score in this test by using difficult vocab. Or I'm going to try and get a higher score today in this test by trying to use complex structures. Or I'm going to get a higher score in today's test by not making any mistakes with tenses, because normally I make lots of mistakes, and today I'm going to make sure I make no mistakes. So what happens is those students end up getting a lower score than they deserve because they're trying to influence their score and they're trying to pretend that they're better than they are. What happens then is they spend all their time thinking about vocab or thinking about grammar. They spend so much time thinking about those things that they don't have time to just speak fluently. So instead of speaking fluently, they start speaking more slowly, or they have to pause and hesitate as they're speaking. So this is what happens then, where people are capable of a higher score, but they get a lower score because they're trying too hard to influence the score, to end up with a higher vocab or grammar score by making things more complicated for themselves. When you're in the IELTS test, it's too late. It's too late to start working on your vocab and your grammar and improving your scores. At that point, really, you need to just actually show the examiner how good you are now, not how good you wish you were. So it's really important that you don't push yourself beyond your ability, and you just show the examiner where you are now. And if that isn't good enough to get the score you need, well, then you need to start fixing your pronunciation, your grammar, your vocab, your fluency, or whatever problems you have. But it has to happen before the test, not in the test. And then another problem when people are trying too hard is they make themselves more stressed, because they're thinking, I need to do this, I need to do that. They're thinking about so many things at once, they get flustered. And the test itself is already quite stressful. So I was talking about this with another student earlier on, but she just reminded me of this student I had, let's say 6 months ago. She was getting a band 6 in the IELTS speaking test. She'd done the test 2 or 3 times, and she got a band 6 in the test every time, in the speaking test every time. Now, this particular time when she went to do the test, she was doing all parts of the test on the same day. So she was doing reading, writing, and listening in the morning, and then she was doing the speaking test later in the day. Now, during the morning, when she was doing the listening test, she just did a very bad job of it. She completely lost track of the audio and where she was and what questions she was supposed to be on, and she just lost track of it. So she knew for a fact that she had really, essentially done a bad job. She didn't get the score she wanted, and she knew that was the case. So, because she was already aware that she was going to have to do the test again because her performance in listening was poor, she knew she was going to have to do the test again. So what happened then was that she didn't really care about the speaking test. She knew no matter how good or bad the speaking test was, that she had to redo the whole test. So when she was in the speaking test, she didn't care. She was like, whatever, I don't care, because this isn't going to count. I need to do the test again anyway. She ended up getting a band 7 in that test because she didn't care. She wasn't trying so hard to improve her scores. She wasn't trying to manipulate the scores by, being extra careful with grammar or by using difficult vocab. She just went in there and she just answered the questions like a normal person talking, and she got a higher score. So that's just to show you is that, you can end up doing more harm than good when you're trying to improve your score in the test. If you want to improve your score, that happens before the test, not in the test. And it's an important thing to be aware of, because a lot of people, they end up having a negative impact on their scores, even though they think that what they're doing is going to be beneficial. Okay, I have a student with me here, Gurpreet. Hi, Gurpreet. If you want to turn on your camera there, I'll add you to the stream and we can get started. Okay. Hi, Gurpreet. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you. So, where are you from?
I'm from India.
Very good. And what score do you need in the IELTS speaking test?
At least 7 or 7.5.
7 or higher. Okay. Now, we are going to do a part 2 question together.
Sure.
And do you have pen and paper ready for this?
Just a second.
No problem. So you'll have 1 minute to make notes, and then you'll need to speak for 2 minutes after that.
Yes, sir.
So when you're ready there, let me know, and I'll share the question with you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Someone you know who
I'd
does.
like you to describe someone you know who dresses well.
Should I start?
You can start speaking now, please.
Sure. Um, I know various people in my life who dress so well, but today I want to talk about my best friend. She dressed so well. I really appreciate her, the way she dress up and everything she put on, like, and her choice of dresses and her jewelry, accessories, and everything. I'm really, inspiring from her. She's my friend since childhood, and she lives in New Zealand right now. As she have a good sense of fashion. She also worked as a model in 2022, and she gives so many auditions, and she want to pursue that career in further in her life. And she gave me a lot of tips whenever I have to get ready for any party or any other occasion, such as festivals and marriage and all. And she's coming to India in February, and I'm going to know a lot from her, as she's going to decide a lot of my dresses which I'm going to wear on other occasions, such as her birthday is coming, for instance. And she's going to choose dresses for me. I really love the elegance about her dresses and her simplicity. She's too down to earth, and she really dressed so well. That what I love about her. And her way of talking um, is also encouraged, that how she managed herself, and her body language is like amazing. She's like incredible, I would say. If I have to describe her in one word, I would say like she's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She's
Thank you.
like amazing.
Thank you. Um, and do you ever talk to other people about this person's taste in clothing?
No, I never.
Thank you.
I just made that like randomly. She's not good at that, but I just made it randomly. I don't
Okay,
know what to say about
you're
other.
fine. You're fine. That's okay. All right. So, a few things. You're, I'd say you're okay to get a band 7. You look like you look like you're okay for a band 7, but I think you can do some things to make your life easier. Are you trying to speak quickly?
No, it's cause of I feel nervous.
Gotcha. I
Yeah,
heard you taking a deep breath before you started. I think a few more of those maybe.
because I
Uh,
would just see your videos
yeah,
of tips about how to start your speaking when you're like going to answer your questions.
yeah. Um, so you're speaking faster than you need to. Okay. And the thing is, the faster you speak, the faster you have to think. And also, you're creating the story. So for every word that you say, you have to create that from scratch. So that makes that more difficult as well. I would say slow down a little bit. Now, obviously, speaking too slowly is bad for your fluency score. You're going to get a low fluency score if you
Mm.
speak slowly. So I'm not saying speak slowly, just a bit slower than you were speaking there today. Um, with your ideas, if you can tell the truth, that's going to be a lot easier than trying to come up with something, create an idea, create a story. Telling the truth is easier.
But I don't know. Nothing comes up in my mind. Like suddenly, I have to answer this question, right? But
You do have to answer the question. Yeah, 100%. But it's like, it doesn't have to be like, let's say, for example, is it that you don't know anyone who dresses well? Is that the problem?
yeah, I don't know anything. Like, oh, I don't have anyone in my mind who dress up so well. Like, there's so many people, although, but I don't know. Nothing
Okay.
comes up in your mind, like when you have to answer.
So for some people, the problem is they have no ideas. And for some people, the problem is they have too many ideas. So like they're thinking of about 10 people and they can't decide who to talk about. Some people, they can't think of anyone. Are you more towards that side where it's like there are about 20 people and you don't know who to choose?
No, I thought like my best friend is like I have so many stuff to talk about her,
Yeah.
so I thought like that would be an easy idea. talk about, I think.
Does she typically dress well? Like, is there someone else that might have been easier to talk about,
No, I think she dressed so well.
but you had to make up the information?
Yeah.
I think keep it simple. Try and keep it simple, and it mightn't be that you're describing her clothes, but it could be more about conversations that you've had with her, or times that you've gone shopping with her, or places you've gone with her where she's dressed very well. So instead of trying to come up with lots of things to say, tell me about your memories, some experience you had with her, or something that you did with her, or one particular occasion when she was dressed very well. If you're pulling information from your memories, that's a lot easier than trying to pull information from the sky.
It's it's
you know
been 12 years that we met, because she's in New Zealand, I went to Canada, so we were
you can,
like,
but that can be part of your answer as well. You can tell me that in your answer. There's no reason that you wouldn't say that to me as part of your answer. So telling the truth is going to be easier, and that can be part of it. you know so that would be fine. Your grammar is really strong. I only noticed one mistake with grammar. You said she dress instead of she dresses. With vocab, you said I'm inspiring instead of I'm inspired. You said she gives auditions instead of she does auditions. Pursue in further would just be pursue further. Decide a lot of my dresses would be decide a lot of my clothes. And then with pronunciation, so there are two things, well, I guess three things. Your sentence stress would need to improve, your intonation would need to improve, and your pronunciation of W.
yeah, you have said that last time too.
uh, you pronounce it as V, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I think the main things for you would be just slow down a little bit and try and tell the truth. And I think that's going to make it easier for your fluency and your vocab. Those would be the two main things to focus on. If you wanted to work on something and improve something, it would be most likely working on pronunciation, working on sentence stress and intonation. And when you're in the test, try to slow down a bit and try and tell the truth. Right.
Sure, I'll try to breathe more.
Yeah. Well, look, you're going to be nervous, and the thing is, you're going to be even more nervous here than you are in the real test. That's kind of to be expected. So if anything, it's good practice for you, because when you're in the real test, you're like, well, at least it's just me and the examiner. That's a lot easier. So obviously you won't have that hanging over you. Do you have any questions for me before we finish up here?
Can you give me a feedback, like, is a 6 band speaking or 7, like
That would easily be a 7.
7?
That would easily be a 7. Yeah.
Thanks for your feedback.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Take
Thank
care of
you.
yourself.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Okay. So great. Thanks, Gurpreet. Let's see. Do I have any comments here? Hey, Mero. Good evening. Welcome to the lesson. Sir, how difficult is it to score a 6.5? It depends on what level you're at now. So if you've got the fluency, vocab, grammar, and pronunciation that you need, then it doesn't take much work at all. If you are at a lower level where you don't have enough vocab, but then it is difficult, because it might be that you need to spend a few months studying vocab before you'll get your score. So it depends. It depends where you're starting from, So it's not necessarily that any score is particularly difficult to get. It's that where are you starting, and where do you want to go to, and how much time do you have? That's the factor. And I suppose how hard are you willing to work? Obviously, that would play into it a lot as well. Okay, I have another student here, Idchar. If you want to turn on your camera, please go ahead, and I'll get you in here with me. Don't. Oh, there's Idchar. No. All right. So let me get you in here. Hi there. How are you doing?
Yeah, great.
Good. How do you say your name?
Izhar.
Izhar. Okay. So where are you from?
I'm based in Mumbai, India.
Very good. And what score do you need in the speaking test?
I am targeting 8. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Right. So I have another part 2 question for you here. Let me just share it with you. Okay. I'd like you to describe a time during your childhood that you really enjoyed.
Okay. So most of the time in the
No,
childhood,
you
I
you have 1 minute to make notes.
okay. I have a time to make notes.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a minute. Uh,
Okay. You can start speaking now, please.
okay. So basically, I enjoyed a lot in childhood swimming with friends in my hometown. It is a small village in Uttar Pradesh, so I enjoyed a lot swimming there with my friends, and because we didn't had anything to think about. I mean, career or future, so it was a free mind. So it was a really happy feeling, I would say, right now. So it was really good doing that.
Can you tell me more about when it was?
Yes, it was when I was around 12. I think it goes to 2005 or 6, I would say.
Can you tell me more about where you were?
It was in my hometown, a small village in India.
Can you tell me more about who you were with?
I was with my childhood friends. They are still in touch with me.
Can you tell me more about why you were so happy?
So as I said, we didn't had anything to worry about. For example, job, career, or anything. So we were child. So there was no issues uh, about career, future, or jobs. So it was a happy moment, I would say.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Um, have you done the IELTS test before?
No, this is first time I'm doing it.
I was thinking that. So in speaking part 2, you have 1 minute to make notes beforehand. So you didn't know that. So I guess, right, you probably haven't done the test before. But also, after that, you need to speak for 2 minutes. So the test is broken into 3 parts. So part 1 is I ask you answer, I ask you answer, I ask you answer. Part 3 is the same. But in part 2, you're shown that cue card, like just now, 1 minute to get ready, and then you have to speak for 2 minutes. But
Okay.
what happened is you spoke for 35 seconds and then I pushed you to say more. You spoke for another 20 seconds. I pushed you to say more, another 20, another 15, another 20. So ideally, you would speak for the full 2 minutes.
Okay.
Um, Part of your fluency score is showing that you can speak at length, that you're able to continue without needing to get prompted and pushed by the examiner.
Mhm.
So you would definitely be looking at a low fluency score based on your part 2 performance today. That does not mean that your fluency is poor. It just means that you shouldn't be waiting for the examiner to encourage you. You
Mhm.
should do it by yourself. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So you need to speak at length. So I mean, just do some practice by yourself. you can get some part 2 questions and just get yourself to, give yourself that 1 minute to prepare and then try and speak for 2 minutes. Even if you get comfortable speaking for 2 minutes, then try speaking for 3 minutes and try speaking for 4 minutes. If you can develop your answers even more and more, that'll help you to,
Uh,
it'll make it that much easier when you get to the test that you'll be able to answer a full 2 minute, give a full 2 minute answer without much effort.
yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So I have to speak 2 minutes. So I would have spoken about two
Yeah,
minutes.
of course. That's why I asked, had you done the test before? But I wanted to ask first because I don't want to insult you and then you say, yes, I have. And then I'm saying it looks like you never did.
No, I
So
know.
that's that. Okay. Some small mistakes with vocab. You said it was a free mind instead of, we had a lot of freedom, or we didn't have anything on our minds. You said 2005 instead of 2005. Small mistakes then. I enjoyed a lot instead of I enjoyed it a lot. So you're missing the object. We didn't had instead of we didn't have. So that's a mistake with tenses. But in general, you're not making a lot of grammar mistakes. The range of structures might be limited, but that would also be because you didn't speak that much. So that would be part of that. Like I just said with Gurpreet there, I think pronunciation would probably be the main area that I'd like you to focus on at the moment. Like the problem with your fluency was just you didn't know how to, like what way the test works. But with your pronunciation, your sentence stress, your intonation, those need to improve. Your chunking. So your chunking is where you pause in the sentence. So you have to pause at certain points in each sentence, like after every clause. Do you know that word, a clause? Like it's a part of a sentence.
Yep.
So between each clause, we will normally pause. Between each sentence, we will normally pause. But you're not doing that. You tend to go straight through without a pause. So that makes it a little bit more challenging for the listener to keep on top of what you're saying. And then again, like I said with Gurpreet, you're pronouncing the W sound as a V. So instead of saying when, you're saying then. So that should be a w, but you're making a v. So when, aware rather than and, like that. So your lip is going to the wrong place when you have that sound. I would mainly be working on probably, I would say chunking and sentence stress would be the main focus. Would be my main recommendation for you right now. And just be aware that you need to speak at length then. But in not just in part 2. In part 2, you need to speak for 2 minutes.
Yep.
But in part 1 and part 3, it's also important that you develop your answers fully. You don't have to speak for a full 2 minutes in part 1 and part 3, but developing your answers fully is still important, even though it wouldn't be that long.
Okay.
All right. So that's the main feedback I have for you at the moment. Do you have any questions for me, or is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Yes. On the accent, what are the uh, ways I can improve the accent?
You don't need to improve your accent. What you need to do is you need to improve those things that I mentioned. So like the way you're not chunking means you're not pausing at the appropriate places. Fix that. So you need to improve your pronunciation. You don't need to improve your accent. You can have whatever accent you can sound like you're from India. You don't need to sound like you're from America to get a good score. Like you can have your accent, but what it is you're not chunking at the moment. That's not appropriate. So
Okay.
you don't need to lose your accent. That's certainly not a requirement of the test. So just focus on kind of the more specifics like sentence stress and chunking. For now, those are the two things that you need to work on.
So right now, what would be the score? I just wanted to know.
Not 8.
No,
Not 8.
not it. At
No.
least
I'd say be
below five.
closer to a 6
Six.
at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
My pleasure. Take care of yourself. Bye. All right. Olivia from Cameroon. Very good. Welcome to the lesson. And Ziza from Uzbekistan. Lovely. Welcome as well. Okay, guys. So it looks like we're pretty much done. I think Olivia has joined me in the waiting room. Olivia, if you want to turn on your camera, please go ahead and we'll get started. And she's disappeared. She's gone. Okay. So let's finish up there for today. Thanks to those of you who joined me. And yeah, I'll be back next week. We'll focus on another part of the IELTS test. It won't be speaking. We'll move on to another part of the test next time. And if any of you need support, one-on-one support, you can reach out to me there, lara@completetestsuccess.com, and I'll show you what services I have available. And yeah, so that's it for now. Best of luck to any of you with tests coming up, and see you next time.